Oh, shoutouts by the way, guys, to our admin, Keetar. Keetar is the one who's handling the players right now for the Great Lakes. There are other admins for other regions. I'm not really familiar with their names, but yeah, shoutouts to them as well. Shoutouts to Drugget again for hosting this entire event. And here we go.
Absolutely, guys. Spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of GSL Daybreak, we have Exion's Nezi. And up here, you go ahead, take the honors.
Alright, on the top right, we do have the yellow Protoss, LGD ChEDo. So he is indeed a Protoss, so I guess he was trying kind of trolling us a little bit later, or earlier today. That was funny.
Very true. I guess when you jump into those custom maps, it automatically might go ahead and just switch to the race. Yeah, I guess that's a little trick they do. So it looks like ChEDo's just going to be going out here. Looks like we will be seeing a fast expansion, standard stuff from our Protoss player right off the bat.
Yep, very standard here. This is actually a really good opening, especially on this map, which is, as I said, a really huge map for a 1v1 setting. It's gonna be a hard thing if ever the Zerg player tries to go for any tricky openings, which I don't think he is gonna be doing. Most likely he is gonna be doing a 15 hatch opening, maybe another base once he sees that there is already a pylon on the second expansion of the Protoss player.
So yeah, the choices are pretty standard for a Zerg player. He can either go 15 hatch, which is kind of risky, especially if the Protoss goes forge first. But then he could also go ahead and just go for the 14 pool expansion around 16 after that Overlord. Generally, it's going to be pretty standard stuff. And there we see the pool going down at 14, I believe. So this is going to be pretty standard. Generally the Zergs will go ahead and get those lings out, just right off the bat, just in case they do see any cannons. And we are seeing looks to be a Nexus first from our Protoss player. So this will be just a standard, standard PvZ type of macro game, which is going to be good because that's sort of the most interesting style of play.
Yep, definitely. And I think the Zerg player is right now just playing safe right now. As you said, there might be a Photon Cannon out there whenever you send out your drone. So you never know, better play safe than sorry and lose your game for like the first few minutes already. And we are going to see the hatchery being placed down right here by Nezi. Very, very good job. That probe tried to delay, but then again, he was too slow to get in the way. As we do see... Oh, go ahead.
That probe, was a little bit too slow. He was trying to scoot on down there, but unfortunately, he could not block the hatchery, which is, just what the Zerg player wants. He doesn't want anything to be delaying that. And we are seeing the Forge and Nexus first come down from our Protoss player. So we do see the Gateway, and we will see another Pylon going after this. So it looks like he does go Gateway and then Pylon. So, what Protoss players do is sometimes they'll switch up the order of, when that Gateway, when that Pylon goes down. So we do see that, ChEDo just prefers to get that Gateway down, then the Pylon, and then is he going to be throwing down a cannon? Yes, he is. So this is just extremely standard stuff. Now, the real question, though, from Nezi is, are we going to be seeing that third base? Or is he going to be doing some sort of, is he going to grab a gas? Is he going to go for some sort of rush play? This remains to be seen. And we do see a drone actually skirting out of that base, so it might just be that third base, which is completely standard.
This is actually a really good opening right now for Nezi because he's just reacting to what he sees, which is basically a very, very early expansion for the Pros player. And usually what you see from the Pros player from this point is that they're going to be doing some 2-base timing all in, which is really, really strong, really hard to defend, especially if you're behind in your economy. That's why Nezi right now is doing the most awesome thing of just doing the standard thing to just catching up with the economy. It's going to be really hard to catch up with a Protoss who has like a 200 max.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, taking that third base is pretty essential right now as a Zerg player if you want to catch up with the Protoss. Now, the Protoss does know that this is coming. ChEDo did pop on down and see that there was need of third base, so he knows that like a very early type of roach aggression play won't actually be coming because once you take that third base, it's pretty difficult to sort of pull that off. And now we are seeing. Out of ChEDo, I'm trying to establish what he would be doing, and he does have both his gases in his main base, so it really depends on if he takes these third and fourth gases, if he's going to be going for some sort of aggression play, if he doesn't, or if he does actually choose to take them and choose to tech up, maybe into Robo, potentially Stargate. We'll have to remain and see what our Protoss player wants to be doing. At the meantime, we do see our Zerg player just actually taking both of his gases right now around the 6-minute mark, which is a standard timing for most Zerg players. So we'll have to see, what is he going to do? Whoopsies. We're going to have to see what these both players, I guess it's sort of like the intro stage to the big game that we're probably going to be seeing very shortly.
Yeah, but it's still pretty early. It's really hard to tell from this point on. That's right now they're just showing that they are doing some standard openings whenever, or they're just reacting to what they see right now, as I've said earlier. Like they're doing standard stuff. They're not really moving to a point where they're moving it to a specific tech on what they're gonna do, and I'm pretty sure both of them are holding out as long as possible just to get like a sniff on what the other race is doing and such, because you want to always react properly to what your opponent is doing, which is right now Nezi not really doing anything right now. I'm pretty sure he's feeling pretty safe because he does have some Zerglings at his disposal. He does seem to be making a spine crawler here, so I guess he sees that there's gonna be a little bit of harassment on his third base very, very shortly, which is happening now.
Yeah, this is sort of very standard pressure just to force a couple lings. 6 lings actually on the way right now, so he's going to go ahead and do just that. He's actually probably going to go ahead and run home. Now we do see, you know, a relatively early Roach Warren coming out. It has started around 20 seconds ago, and it is only 7:30, meaning this Roach Warren went down at around the 7-minute mark, which is about 30 seconds early. You know, so that's probably you know, anticipating a little bit of pressure coming out. However, he does see that ChEDo has both of these gases, and he actually has a Robo up, meaning that, you know, we're not going to see any crazy 6-gate pushes. He's going up to a Robo and 4 gates right now, which is completely standard. I assume he's probably going to get a Twilight after this, and we might see some very standard play now. Day9 actually recently released a daily where we're probably going to see ChEDo. If he chooses to do this, he might go Blinkstalker, Immortal, and just forgo Colossus immediately, you know, completely have absolutely no Colossus, which, you know, it's funny, as a Protoss player, it's kind of silly having no Colossus in your army, but, you know, it's very, very cool, actually, to play against Zerg players with this sort of style, because the Immortals and Blinkstalkers are just so good, and the lack of Colossus allows you to sort of have that much more mobility-based army, as, you know, with you're lugging Colossus around in your army, it's, you know, they're pretty slow units, hard. Exactly, especially if you're taking a third base. We are seeing games going up to 6 gateways right now, so that actually will be a push. We are going to probably seeing a push on the third base, and these pushes, 6-gate Immortal pushes, are really difficult for Zergs to hold, so we're going to have to see, you know, how Nezi's actually planning to go ahead and hold this.
And yeah, definitely, like, it's going to be hard for him to hold, especially that army does have Immortals, which is a really good counter to Roaches. And I'm actually wondering if Nezi did see, or if our Protoss player did see that there's a Roach Warrior. So a little bit of blunder right there. He did lose all of his ground units as well. He basically lost everything, all the Brood Lords and such, but then again, he does have these 100 Zerglings, as you have said. Like, they're just lagging my screen right now because there is so many of them, and now they're just gonna try to break through this wall of gateways. Aren't they gonna be able to do it though? He still has no detection here, so it's gonna be pretty tricky when engaging this army. He is gonna be able to surround all the stalkers. Oh, they're doing so much damage, but then finally a Colossus pops out and he is gonna be forced to run away. Also, Archons in the mix. Archons are really, really good against those Zerglings, so that attack is not gonna happen anytime soon again.
So the Broodlords are working their way back across the map right now. We have 10 Broodlords on the field right now. 17 Infestors also being made right now. I think it's around this time that our Zerg players are probably going to go ahead and take a 6th base. And we just see an Overseer is not going to go ahead and scout the 5th base coming out from our Protoss player. And so look, there's a 6th base actually going to be planted down right on top of where a Warp Prism is. So he has to be a little bit careful now that the Dark Shrine is about halfway done. And we do see a lot of Stargates go down. Where are they? I saw around 3. Yeah, in the main base we have 3 Stargates, and they're just pumping out carriers. So we're gonna be seeing carriers, guys. This is exciting. This is really exciting.
ChEDo putting on a show here, trying to show off with some carriers, which is actually not a bad reaction to Broodlords, because Broodlords cannot shoot air, but unless, of course, Nezi decides to not transition to Broodlords and just stick with Corruptors, it's gonna be pretty bad for him, especially with this air upgrade going up right now for Nezi as well. +2 upgrade being researched here, +3 melee upgrade being researched as well by Nezi. And also Warp Prism speed, is that speed being researched as well? Wow, this is actually going to be pretty interesting on what composition ChEDo is doing right now.
Gravitic Drive, we do see the 6th base now being taken over here on this side of the map right now for our Zerg player. I mean, the army for, I mean, with these carriers, and it's actually going to be extremely powerful carriers, are a fantastic unit. I don't even think he knows the carriers are on the way, and if he does, he's actually producing Corruptors right now, but I mean, once you have enough carriers, it's ridiculous.
It is really, really ridiculous, especially against Zerg, which Zerg barely has any good anti-air, except of course for Corruptors. That's pretty much their anti-air. Hydralisk not so much, but we will see how he's going to be able to defend whenever he first see these first few carries. He's actually not hiding the fact that he is making carries. He's just sending them right into the heart of the army, which is not really a bad idea if he wants to go for the kill already. Actually, I don't think he actually minds losing some of this army cup because he is already maxed out right now, and I'm pretty sure he is looking forward to making more carriers. He'll be maxing them out like 12 or so, which is going to be really, really deadly.
I mean, those carriers are so strong. Looks like he's actually gone ahead and lost that 6 base to 4 zealots, which are actually moving across the map like secret agent zealots. So this is actually going to be really interesting to see. I mean, how these guys are getting pulled off. So he's actually going to run ahead and see if he can go ahead and harass more with them. Right now, we do see we have 15 Broodlords on the map right now, just jumped up to 15, and 4 carriers with 8 gateways being added right now. So this is actually going to be really interesting. I mean, with enough corruptors though, you can just really smash those units down. So we're going to have to see.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see this final battle.
I think what Nezi needs right now is he needs more Zerglings, because in a little bit, I'm pretty sure ChEDo is going to be warping in a ton of Zealots into his bases, because he does have the Warp Prism speed. He already has 1 Warp Prism placed in his main base, so that's actually going to be a critical point there if ever a clash does happen. So we will see if he's going to be able to do so. But then again, Nezi, he's just maxing out on Broodlords right now. He is just making a ton of them. It's already maxed out, so he can't really make any more units actually.
Nezi actually went ahead and took that base up in the top. Actually took both air bases.
Island bases, yeah.
I like that choice a lot. It's actually a really good choice. Once you get some drones over there, it's going to be really interesting to see. So we are seeing Zerg flyer attacks level 3 come out as all the Broodlords make their way across the map. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. So we are seeing a lot of gateways being added, 6 more in production right now. And this army with the carriers out, I mean, when you look at this army under the mothership, it's not like anything special, it's not massive, but when you look at all the carriers, the mothership, with its upgrades, this is a lot of units.
Yeah, you see the composition. You don't see the numbers, but you see the composition. Those are really scary units to deal with, especially with the slow army that Nezi has right now, which is in the Broodlord Corruptor form. So we'll see how he's going to be able to deal with that. We do see +2 upgrades going up as well for Protoss Air. Once that finishes, most likely we will see a move out right here from ChEDo. And once the attack as well of Nezi finishes as well, we are going to see a move out from him as well. He's already right there doing a little bit of harassment here, trying to take down his pile material, also putting cannons, trying his best to do as much damage as possible inside the main base right now. ChEDo, what are you going to do? Are you going to be just walking your carrier away? Oh, this is going to be pretty interesting. He needs to be careful with his carriers though, because there are some corruptors in the field. So you don't want to lose those.
Oh no, only 4 carriers are so easy to kill right off the bat. I mean, nothing really targets them, so he's going to have to move back. The Corruptors are just going to chase him down, though. If he has to get an Archon Toilet off or something right now. He's just attacking the Destructible Rocks. He's going to lose all of his units. He's not reacting to these, like this force that's on his front doorstep right now, so he has to be careful. There goes the Archon Toilet. He is actually going to go ahead and get all of those Corruptors, but I mean, all these Broodlords are still an issue. They're still a threat, and he just lost a lot of his carriers.
He did lose a lot of carriers. That's actually a lot of money, and one of the downsides of why not a lot of people do make those carriers, because once they're left alone, they are gonna get eaten by a lot of those anti-air units like the Corruptors and Vikings and such. And now we do see these Archons right here getting Fungrowth and getting eaten alive by the Broodlings. Wow, what is ChEDo gonna be able to do here? Both players are actually maxed out, but then again, why does one army look scarier than the other? I'm not really sure. He is making Void Rays now though. 2 Void Rays are on the way, which are pretty good against those Broodlords, and pretty good for the Corruptors as well, especially when they're charged up into like full power. But we do see Nezi right now moving back here. I didn't really see the case right here. He did lose his main base. There are Dark Templars roaming around his main base. This is what we were talking about, that those Warp Prisms are going to be a huge factor. What key units have he lost as well? He did not lose his Greatest File yet. He does have them pretty well protected, but then again, his main base is completely gone. Completely nothing at all, and he did lose his Hive Tech as well.
Oh wow, he lost his Hive Tech. That's absolutely massive. When losing your Hive Tech is like, oh wow, that's I didn't even realize.
Back to the storage age.
Yeah, that's awful. I mean, he's getting a layer right now, but geez, that is not good.
He is not gonna be able, or is he gonna be able to make Broodlords? I forgot already. Like, I don't think he's gonna be able to make Broodlords at all. For the meantime, he does have the Greatest Fire up and ready.
I think he does have the Greatest Fire, so he will be able to make Broodlords.
Yes, yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, now he has all his drones loaded up in these Overlords to drop at these bases on the island, which is a really cool idea. But the army for ChEDo is moving out. It's pumping out 3 Void Rays at a time, so it's actually going to be an air army, which is very effective against this Broodlord-like composition.
Yep, that's going to be definitely pretty good anti-air army. We do have the Stalkers, and all those Void Rays carriers are still around. Also, High Templars also in the mix. Most likely he can transfer that to an Archon, because Archons are pretty good anti-air and they're pretty tough as well. But then again, Psystorm itself is pretty good but we will see what he's going to be able to do here. We do have this bulk of the army of Nezi right now slowly moving out again. After he tried to defend his main base, but again he was not able to because it's already gone before he got there, and he had no choice because he had to engage and put pressure on the base of the Protoss player as well. Now what are you gonna do now, Nezi? And what is ChEDo gonna do now? I don't think he even knows. Does he even know that there's island expansions right now? He does know that there are 2 island expansions. He is actually doing some mortal drops here on one island, trying to take down the Spine Crawler. The Spine Crawler goes down, and he could be able to take down his hatchery as well.
I mean, if he takes on that base, that's actually going to be a pretty big deal because this is one of the few mining bases. He only has, I believe, I mean, this base is mining operational, and his 4th and 5th base are both mining operational, but losing a base that's so hard to just get even a drone to is really difficult to pull off. So he's actually going to go ahead and lose that base and all the Spine Crawlers, which is a really big deal because just getting units there is really difficult in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely. It's already a hassle, and he did lose that. A lot of money went down the drain. I'm pretty curious if ChEDo is gonna go and get that himself because he is also about to be mined out in some of his bases. He is fully mining on his freshest patch right here by the right side of the map. On the other on their bases, not really looking pretty healthy right here.
That's very true. Now, obviously this newest base is good to go, but these other bases, like his, I believe his 4th base, is running relatively low. However, there are 2 bases left at the farthest. I mean, those bases are going to be really hard to contest, however, so we're going to have to see if he's going to go for that option to mine from there, but it looks like in the meantime, Warp Prism's dropping units off of these bases. I mean, I think that his, I believe this, I guess his 4th base over here, or no, his 5th on the island is very well protected with Spine Crawlers, though, so we're going to have to...
He made sure of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No drop's going to happen anytime soon in that base.
So we're just waiting for an engagement right now, so looks like a lot of Void Rays are being added to this army, and as we know, Void Rays are a very, very, very good unit. So we do see 9 Void Rays on the field with 2 carriers, 2 Archons, 4 High Templars, a single mothership, as you know. It'd be cool if we could see 2 motherships, but unfortunately that is not an option.
Not, well, in mirror matches, I believe it's an option.
Oh yeah, I believe it is an option in mirror matches.
Anyways, here we go. We do see the Broodlords trying to chip away on the lives of those Protoss units. It's gonna be pretty tricky on how this Zerg player is gonna choose on how to engage because one Vortex is gonna be a key factor, and he missed the Vortex. Oh my god, no unit went in that Vortex. All the Corruptors survived and the Mothership went down. That is a huge play right there by Nezi. Very, very good job avoiding that Void Ray, not losing anything at all. Very good job.
Wow, I can't believe he not only did he lose the mothership, but only 2 Corruptors went in. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's that's game ending. I mean, he's actually going to lose a lot of Corruptors right now to this engagement, but he's going to lose even more Void Rays, and I mean those Void Rays take a while to build. So this is somewhat of a final engagement. ChEDo is losing a lot of units. I mean, my computer can't even keep up because this battle is so epic right now. I mean. Yes. Are moving in bit by bit, and with no mothership to protect this army, this might be the end for ChEDo as Nezi is moving in with all of his Broodlords. Massive fungos go down. The Broodlords are 3-2, meaning they do so much damage, and all of ChEDo's army looks like it's being eaten away. My computer can't even handle how epic this is right now because of all the units. More infested Terrans come up. A lot of Void Rays are on the field, though. They might be able to clean up a lot of these units since there's only 1 Corruptor left, and with this only 2 Corruptors, with only 2 Corruptors, 3 now on the field, this is going to come down to it because with those Void Rays, all the Broodlords could be sniped.
Oh, wow, look at that. Nezi just pumped out 110 Zerglings, and it is now 150 to 114 in food supply in favor of the Zerg player. But ChEDo himself right now, he's warping in more Stalkers as well here, so he should be fine for at least the 100 Zergling wave that's about to happen here. He should be fine.
All of his Broodlords were shot down. That's absolutely insane, losing all your Broodlords like that, especially now that your bank is only 100 minerals. I mean, you really don't have that. Now, these Lings are going to be going down here, and he's actually going to be morphing 3 more Broodlords. He's actually going to catch a lot of these Stalkers in a bad position now that these Lings do have that upgrade, which I believe they have the upgrade, which is... Oh no, he's going to lose them all! Oh, the Zealots have been warped in. The bank right now is so large for our Protoss player, we might actually go ahead and see a victory from him because he is in a great position with all of these Stalkers and all of these Void Rays.
Yeah, the problem with Nezi right now is that he doesn't have any Spire at all. He lost all of his Spire, he lost his Greater Spire, and just about to get his Spire right now. So finally he's going to be able to make those air units again, but right now he can only make Zerglings and Roaches. Warping in here right now on the natural base is ChEDo with his Zealots, and he is going to be able to take down this lair. The lair did go down, and other other invisible units are going to go down here for ChEDo. But mission successful, he was able to take down one of one of the bases of Nezi, and Nezi right now looking pretty bad here. That was a really good play right there again by ChEDo, upgrading those Warp Prism tech, which is pretty cool, which definitely helped him out right now here because he knew that he's gonna be able to defend against the army of Nezi if ever a clash happens. So he was willing to gamble on warping in those units on every basis that Nezi has.
So it looks like the base up in the top left is now been taken out. Actually, going ahead and feedbacking one of the overseers that was warped in there, that's pretty cool. But yes, one of the bases is gone. The spawning pool was destroyed, has just finished being rebuilt, and the Greater Spire is gone, meaning that the Greater Spire has to be rebuilt too, which is a really big deal. And at the meantime, it looks like the army for our Protoss player is another mothership is out. There's some stalkers out here, a carrier, and a handful of void rays. So I mean, it's going to be tough. Now, at the same time, I say that our Protoss player is just running out of bases. His final mining base is being mined out right now. So, I mean, he's going to have to be establishing another base very soon. His bank is, I mean, his bank's pretty decent. It's around, ooh, actually, he spent a lot of money on 3 Void Rays right now. So his bank is, you know, it's pretty low, especially for the 40-minute mark. This game's been going on for 40 minutes. Wow. But at the same time, we see a lot of gas for a Zerg player, whereas relatively low minerals for him. So, I mean, both these players are going to be running out of money pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. It is now 200 to 152. Max out right now is the Protoss player. What is he going to be able to do with that army, though? We will see in just 1 second. Nezi, though, he does have a ton of gas here, so if he can just collect as many minerals as possible, very soon he's going to be able to max out with a good amount of arm composition. Again, oh, good fungal on those Zealots. Being poked out by the Zerglings and the Spyro. He is gonna a ton of those Zealots. Very nice play. That's a 20 food supply worth of Zealots. Very, very good job right there. Very good hold by Nezi. Right now it is now 20 food supply a difference. And I think Nezi can still hold this as the Protoss player is about to get mined out here. Where are your minerals coming in? I don't see any minerals at all from any of these bases. This is pretty bad for the Protoss player.
Yeah, I mean, with the lack of minerals is going to be a massive, massive annoyance if he can't get any bases mined up. So he actually has a single DT up on the top left, so no bases can be taken there. He's going to have to think about taking one of these bases on the sort of left and right-hand sides. I would recommend probably taking it on the left side where it's easier to sort of control that area. But he could also take one of the island expansions. It's completely an option. Right now he's roaming around with these Void Rays. He's actually going to be trying to be taking out these units. And I mean, with a lot of Void Rays, I mean, once you have this many Void Rays, it's really difficult to combat an army like that, especially with a mothership.
Yeah, definitely. As this mothership with the rest of his army moves out, Nezi's looking... I don't know, what is he going to be able to counter with this? It is going to be pretty difficult. Let's look at the unit talent real quick. We do have 21 Infestors, 20 Corruptors, and 62 Zerglings. That's a pretty good composition, but then again, it's going to be pretty difficult. He needs to preserve the life of those Corruptors as long as possible, and Infestors need to hit their fungos very, very good, or very, very well on top of the Stalker and the Void Ray Ball. So we will see what's going to happen in just 1 second, guys. He is slowly pushing out here. I think he might just want to get one base secured at least, so that he can go back to mining, because right now he's almost completely mined out here, and I don't think an all-in play is the answer here for our Protoss player.
He's warping in a lot of Templar, presumably for the Archon purposes, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see this final engagement coming out. He's bringing all the probes from this base over here. It's totaling about three boxes, so that's about 30 of them, and this engagement might be coming in soon. It looks like, oh, the Corruptors are going to get a good drop on a lot of these units, and he has to be careful to not get those High Templar fungled. Well, is this going to be the final battle, guys?
Oh. Here we go. Are we going to see a good Vortex here? That is the question. Because earlier today he missed his Vortex and that cost him a lot of units. And now is he going to be able to land a good one? If he does, we are going to be going on to game number 3. If not, it's going to be a really, really tough spot for him. He still has a 30 food supply lead, so everything's still in his favor. Then again, he is not mining and such. And here we go. He's going to go for those Spine Throws instantly goes down with this army composition. This is so crazy. That is a really, really scary army composition. Here we go. Blinking right now are the Stalkers. Oh, good fungal right there on those Stalkers. The Stalkers are taking massive damage. Oh, blinking or fungal growth as well. They're on those
all the Broodlords are gone. Everything's gone. Nezi.
Oh my god.
ChEDo might have just done it. He did. GG.
Oh, wow. There you go. Amazing play right there by ChEDo. Finally getting a good engagement right there props to ChEDo for taking that game on the last engagement. He didn't have any income at all at that point, and he had to win it at that point, or else he is gonna be defeated. So props to ChEDo winning that game, and we are gonna be moving on to game number 3, guys. It's gonna be pretty interesting.
That was a absolutely ridiculous game, guys. I mean, from a viewer perspective, from a caster perspective, that was 40 minutes long, and now I think we're going into game 3. We're just gonna have to yawn because
it's too exciting for you, man.
It took so much out of me to catch that game. It was absolutely ridiculous. But guys, we're gonna be jumping into game number 3 as soon as possible. That was absolutely insane. I mean, as a Protoss player, the map's good for some pushes, especially versus doing like early pushes, like you said, just like gateway timings. It's quite difficult to get that third base up as Zerg. It's pretty far away, pretty vulnerable. So I mean, we're gonna have to see, how these two players, as a Protoss and a Zerg, how they're gonna take care of it. But guys, we're jumping into this game right now. GSL dual site for the final game in the series between ChEDo and Nezi.
It's been a fun series so far. Pretty interesting stuff. Like game 2 was pretty ended up pretty epic. I thought it was gonna end really quick, but then again, it turns out that both players wanted to be like played in the long run because they feel comfortable playing like 4 bases on that map, which is pretty reasonable. And now here we are on a very small map compared to the other one. We have dual site on the 9 o'clock position. We do have the orange Zerg player XEO and Nezi.
Spawning up here from the team LGD, we have ChEDo, our Protoss player, sending this probe on down to make his fast expand. Or not. Wow. Okay. All right.
So this is what we were talking about earlier, that it's not that easy to wall off that natural expansion for a Protoss player. So maybe now he might go for like a really different type of playstyle here. So I'm not sure. Maybe he might go for a 4-gate. You never know. An old school style 4-gate can work here, especially if your Zerg opponent is not well prepared for it. And are we going to see Nezi here going to be a little bit greedy and go for a 15 hatch? Or maybe he's just going to go for a standard spawning pool here. We will see.
I mean, it looks like that he is actually just going to go ahead and probably get that pool down on 14, as most players do. I mean, the threat of cannons is a little bit too scary, even if you don't know, because ChEDo looks to be doing a 1-gate, probably a 1-gate expand. I mean, I would assume that this 1-gate expand is going to, at least that's what it looks like it's going to be, is going to be for that early, I mean, like just to clear my thoughts, like you were saying, it's hard to really fast expand on a natural like this, but at the same time, having that 1-gate expand allows you to get that that cybernetics core out much quicker, allows you to have that warp gate done much quicker, so it might be for some early pressure as well. So we're gonna have to see, is he gonna be expanding off this? Is he gonna be doing one base play? It all remains to be seen, but it looks like the expansion is now coming out for Nezi. All 3 games we've seen, ChEDo doesn't really seem to be making an effort to be blocking that expansion.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem to mind allowing his opponents to just get that expansion very easily, because usually you see those pros players continuously harassing that area where the expansion is supposed to be popped down. But in this case, ChEDo doesn't really mind. I guess he likes going for like a standard timing, and whenever he sees something standard from the Zerg player, he knows what to do and how to counter react it. And it's gonna be actually something interesting here as well on the side of ChEDo, as we do see already has a ghast here. And also Cybercore already being made here. So I'm not sure what he might do. Maybe he's going to go for a 3-gate expansion, 1-gate expansion. It's all up in the air right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the cybernetics core being added in the main base, it sort of makes me a little bit curious, especially, I mean, we look at that chrono boost, it's quite high. He actually did chrono boost his gateway out just then. So we're going to have to see, what he's choosing to do, if this is some sort of, looks like we haven't seen a second pylon yet, and he's hiding another probe down here, so this might actually be a 4-gate or at least a 3-gate pressure. I mean, will we be seeing expand off this with this probe hidden down here near the 3rd base? It looks to me that he will be doing some sort of play like that. And I mean, I would say that that's there's the hidden pylon, so this will be an early attack. I mean, with the choice being dual site, I think it's a good idea to do an attack like this, especially since, I mean, how often do you really see this in PvZ? Not very often.
Yeah, you don't really see this map anymore in the tournaments, like in the new tournaments right now, because this map has already been taken out in most of those big tournaments. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what he's gonna do here. He is gonna be prepping up to get a Nexus. He does have 400 minerals. No, He does see the Zergling. There's a Zergling there, so he can't really make anything at the moment. But it looks like he is going to be expanding, or it's, I don't know.
I mean,
It's
we'll
pretty
have to
weird.
see. Now, looks
What do
like
you
the
think?
pylon has been spotted down here, so no pressure will be able to come. Interesting choice that he would actually choose to make a pylon down there and then get a nexus, and he's still he's 600 minerals, no nexus yet. So I guess the pressure is not happening, but he's really being indecisive right now. Like, I guess he's waiting for his warp gate to finish, and then he's going to go ahead and take a nexus. But I mean, 14 lings were just made. He forced 14 lings with that one pylon, but I'm just trying to figure out what is he trying to do right now.
Well, he did force Nezi to make more Zerglings than usual, so that's one good thing for the things he's doing right now. But the question is, what is he gonna do? It looks like he is gonna be making a Nexus here, finally making a Nexus, and finally deciding on what he should do. Like, it took him a while before he could decide, but then again, maybe it's just security. He wanted that gateway, as you said, or the warp gate technology research before he plopped down the Nexus. To avoid stuff like this, he's going to be able to harass this Nexus right here.
He's actually going to have to force a cancel.
Oh, is he going to be able to do it?
Oh,
yes!
He forced a cancel.
Wow!
I mean,
on the last pixel.
This is definitely not how I would do the gateway expand. I mean, he went for the 3 gates and then expanded, as opposed to just getting the 1 gate, and he's pretty damn behind in terms of economy right now. Now, looks like the 3rd base just now got put down, so it had to be reasonably delayed in terms of. I guess how quickly he put that down, because once the Protoss is only on 1 base, you don't want that base being delayed so heavily by by being killed, I guess, by the 1 base pressure coming out of Protoss. So we are seeing that he just now recently got his 3rd base at around the same time as our Protoss player took his natural.
Yep. So the 3rd base right now is on the way. So successful harassment right there by Nezi, completely delaying the already delayed expansion of ChEDo. And let's see how ChEDo is going to be able to come back here. I'm assuming he's kind of behind, especially because he is behind in bases already, which is not really good. Let's look at the income tab real quick. We have 23 harvesters for the Protoss player compared to the 34 harvesters of Nezi. So there you go. It's already a big difference right there in terms of the income. And we should see a little bit of a big up in the food supply of Nezi very soon compared to the one in ChEDo. Interesting.
Yeah, and we just see the Twilight go down right now, which I think is an interesting choice. He's more than likely going to pair this with a Robo later on. Also, interesting choice to actually get that cannon down. I mean, once you have the 3 gates, is how necessary really is the cannon. But I mean, to each his own. I guess that is going to help him against Ling run-bys once his army is out on the map, which it is right now.
He is indeed going to move out, and is he going to try to put some pressure? Because it's going to be pretty much a gamble again here. He does have a lot of juicy sentries in that mix, and there's barely any meat shields for those sentries, so it's going to be a questionable engagement if ever he does try to push out with this small amount of army. He is warping in more gateways though, so we should see a timing very soon. We should see Blink technology being researched here as well very soon, as we do have the Twilight cancel already.
Yeah, we can see the gate being added right now. He's going up to 5 gates, adding a 2nd gas on right now. So I'd assume this would just be to take an earlier 3rd base at around the 10-minute mark, or potentially a little bit after that. As that would be the standard timing with a robotic spit. So we'll have to see if he's choosing now. Yeah, Blink is, like you just said, Blink is being researched as long as the +1. So I would imagine that we're going to see +2 along with the Blink. Probably a little bit of a pressure, but then I would assume a 3rd base. Now that the Robo is being done, I would assume a 3rd base is his next logical step.
Yeah, let's look at the unit tab real quick. We have 9 roaches on the field right now with 3 queens and 8 zerglings. On the other side, we do have 6 sentries, 2 stalkers, and 4 zealots. So it is now 93 against 6-2 right now in terms of food supply. So Nezi right now, as we said, he is indeed trying to take a huge lead in food supply, because that's pretty much where the Zerg player has a good advantage on, and just taking a really fast early 200, but then again, once the Protoss catches up to you and gets 200, it's going to be pretty bad for the Zerg player. As we saw in game number 2, a 200 army compared to a 200 Protoss versus Zerg army collision is not usually in favor of the Zerg player.
I mean, Broodlords are a very good unit, but once you have all those Void Rates out, especially with the Mothership, Archons, like those really high-powered units, it's really difficult just to deal with those. So we just see the Overseer is not going to pop in and see pretty much everything that's going on right now. The Robo Bay actually going down. Interesting choice. So it looks like he's going to delay his 3rd and get a Colossus out instead, which is, I think, is an interesting choice to pull that off. What do you think about his choice to go for Robo instead of 3rd base?
Well, Protoss still has a really good 2 base all-in timing pushes, like as we see from Nanua and Sase. They consistently do those 2 base timings, and it always turns out pretty good or most of the time it turns out pretty good for them. So maybe that's what ChEDo is gonna go for right now. But we will have to see in just 1 second. He's still pretty behind in food supply. I'm not sure why he's so behind though. It's having a hard time like making those pylons, I guess.
Well, I think it's mostly just the fact that roaches are such easy units to max on so quickly, and he does have a lot of roaches moving in this field. This is gonna be like, ooh, wow. Fantastic. Force Field is actually just letting one in. Unfortunately, this is going to leave his main base extremely exposed right now. We do see this is 24 roaches, and of course, roaches are 2 supply each. So, I mean, roaches are so easy to make. Yeah. He's trapped this army down here, though, and I mean, this army loses to these roaches in a one-on-one fight. So here comes the engagement right now, and I don't think our Protoss player really has enough to deal with this. Now, he is, turn boosting these cannons, but he might actually just go ahead and get this Nexus if he targets it down, and that might just like be a killing blow because there goes the Nexus. I mean, these roaches are units that you can just sort of deal with, and he can just walk away with these roaches. He doesn't even have to engage his army. He's going to go ahead and engage these sentries, which is fantastic. But, I mean, now that the Nexus is done, he is so behind because a big roach push right now could just potentially end the game. I mean, delaying that Nexus so much to do to get those 3 gates up is so, like, it puts you so behind economically that our Zerg player can just sort of zip ahead, max on roaches if he chooses to. He is getting the roaches and the corruptors to deal with the Colossus that pop out. I mean, at that point, I don't even think it's really that much of an issue because I don't see Colossus coming out. I see that he's just going to lose to a big roach push.
Yeah, no Colossus anytime soon here. He just really needs to defend right now and try to catch up as fast as he can, as we do see the Zerg player going for his 4th base right now, about to be finished here as well. So very good job right there by Nezi, completely just sniping off the Nexus and just getting out there with a really heavy damage into the economy, into the heart of ChEDo right now, and it's going to be a really tough uphill battle right here from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the infestation pits going down. The corruptors, I assume, they're going to be there for the Broodlord technology like we saw in Game 2. He went for those quick Broodlords, We're only around the 15-minute now. The 4th base, however, is up and operational now for a Zerg player. Completely maxed, double supply, no 3rd base anywhere in sight. Natural just finished. I do not see ChEDo holding this.
Yeah, here we go. The Roach army is going to try to force their way in there, but then again, those forces are helping out ChEDo so much. He's going to be able to pick up these lone roaches right here, which is, that's a lot of roaches being picked up right there, about 10 right there. But still, though, Nezi still maxed out and just maxing out with 16 more roaches. Not a problem at all. It is now 200 food supply against not even 100 food supply for ChEDo. I'm not really sure what ChEDo is going to be able to do here once the rest of the army of Nezi comes in here with the corruptors here as well. Oh man, this is gonna be pretty bad.
He's actually gonna lose his +3 attack armor research, and then he's just gonna get out of there. Perfect play from Nezi we're seeing right now. He's just sort of getting in there, sniping when he can, and then getting out. He's actually going to go ahead and engage his army. I mean, even his upgrades look to be... actually, his upgrades aren't the same, but I mean, with that Forge being safe, his upgrades are going to, obviously take their own little lead. He's actually going to jump in. Now, the Immortals are here. 3 Immortals are on the field. They're very powerful units, Immortals are. But with that, I mean, he's getting a 5th base. His Infestation Pit's done. He's getting his air attack research for his Broodlords. I mean, I don't see this game going any other way but Nezi winning.
Yeah, unless Nezi decided to just run all of his roaches inside there on a move command and just stand there, not attacking. That's pretty much how ChEDo is the only way he's going to be able to come back here. It's going to be really rough. It's going to be really hard. We do see Templar Archives on the way now. I guess when those Templar comes in, he's going to be a really huge help. But then again, Nezi right here is just taking down unit or building after building really quickly here. Took down a floating cannon, took down a gateway, took down a pylon, and just a very quick second right there. Very good job, and then hitting out again, maxing out very soon.
So we just see Infestors are now on the map, and I mean, with this 5th base, it's 17 minutes. There's no 3rd base in sight for ChEDo. I mean, at this point, it's kind of hard for a player to really recalibrate. I mean, how do you even take your 3rd base when this many roaches are probably just going to be there denying it when they're not at your 3rd base? They're going to be your natural. This is, I mean, Hydras are even on the way right now. This is an unwinnable position. I mean, unless a miracle happens, I think the only real way that he can get something done is probably make a Warp Prism, probably gets a Speed Prism, maybe drop some Immortals, try and snipe some important tech structures, and then while he's doing that, try and take a 3rd base. But I mean, there's like his army just loses. I mean, granted, no, Force Fields, Immortals, Zealots. I mean, they're all good units to use against mass roaches. But unless he gets a 3rd base right this second, he is going to fall behind and lose to this 3rd player.
I don't know if you saw it, but the roaches are just attacking each other right now, trying to make more room, I guess.
Probably just to clear up supply. Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
It was really funny, and now we do see these Hydralis popping out right now. Usually, when you see Hydralis in the field, usually the Zerg player is pretty comfortable on what they're doing right now and how the game is going, and he's just popping out more Hydralis. He knows that the Hydralis are gonna help him out, and in this engagement at least, because there are a ton of Immortals, and Immortals are not really that good with those Hydralis, especially with Force Fields as well. Hydralis have more range compared to Roaches, so they're gonna be able to help out with doing damage with for the Zerg army and against the Protoss army. ChEDo right now, it is now 129 against 200, maxed out still here for Nezi. He's still on two bases right now, 19 minutes in the game. That's never good.
Yeah, I mean, his first base is actually mined out. We check out the tab. We have 41 probes to 76 runs. I mean, it's a sad sight. This is a double elimination tournament, though, so we will be able to potentially see him again. Now, Nezi is just positioning his army around. He's actually going to get a good position. I mean, at this point, we do see the Warp Prism being made, but is it too little, too late? We'll have to see. Hive is now going down right now. And I mean, once the Hive finishes, once the Broodlords are out, it's going to be hard, but we may not even get that far because we do see an engagement. Blinking on top of all the Hydra's going to be losing all of his Stalkers. Good Funkles go down, losing a lot of units. His Roaches look to be taken care of relatively quickly, but with all the infested Terrans, my computer's going to go ahead and slow down the game because of this engagement, and it looks like he's actually going to hold. Wow, pretty impressive. But I mean, 23 Hydras are making. He lost a lot of Stalkers right there. We're going to have to see. I mean, he needs to get a third now or never, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. Hive Tech is on the way, halfway finish already here, and Hydralis are about to be done as well. So fast to make these Hydralis is very amazing. And now he knows that there is not really any High Templar in the field, just Archons and such. So he's going to be pretty much A-okay with doing a ton of damage against the Stalker Zealot composition with the Immortals. Immortals here, this actually is going to be interesting on how this harass from ChEDo is going to turn out. He might be able to take down his base, but again, it's still going to be pretty questionable, especially Hydralis on creep. That is never good for your Protoss army. Here we go. Those Zealots are going to melt so fast. Immortals being focused fire in the front of the army, never good. You want Stalkers in the front of your Immortals, but then again, those Force Fields are helping out ChEDo so much as well here.
Yeah, those Force Fields are really the one thing that's keeping alive in this game. Is Force Fields, have just been time and time again really, really good. But I mean, 20 minutes in, no third base. We're gonna need to see, some very strong play. Now, where is this Warp Prism? I know that a Warp Prism is out. Is it with the army, or is it just doing its her ass?
I actually have not noticed the Warp Prism at all.
I guess the Warp Prism was killed by those Hydras in that engagement, which is a shame because that Warp Prism could be used. Now we do see the I guess what does that make it? The fifth base is now up here for ChEDo. It's being mined from it's operational. I mean, the Roaches upgrades are out there. I think the Greater Spire should either be started or it's already finished, but very soon. So yeah, it has not yet been started, but soon the Greater Spire will, I assume, be started. We're gonna see the Broodlords come out. I mean, at that point, it's gonna be over.
Yeah, one of the bases of Nezi though does go down with this harassment of ChEDo. A small victory right there by ChEDo. But then again, it's really, really small factor.
His army's actually going to get caught out of position. He's going to lose everything. And I mean, I don't think does he have the money to remake it. I don't think he does. I think ChEDo is actually, that's going to be it. Yep, GG.
It's GG right there. Where Nezi taking home the series 2-1 and moving on through the winners bracket.